Alright, well, let's continue this train wreck a pace, a rollin' something or other. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens now that we're officially unofficial. It was St. Patrick's Day. Aasi and I had gone out for drinks in the evening and then on to some London dance club. It was a little wilder than the place we'd gone to before. Looked the same, though. Honestly, it was a bit much for me. When butts were basically hanging out of shorts, I didn't usually find it attractive. Maybe I was a prude? I feel you, Flynn. I stood nervously around, trying to find something safe to stare at. Looking at other girls, are we? I jumped as Aasi shouted into my ear. What? No! Definitely not. Uh-huh. Sure. She turned away and headed out to the dance floor. I watched her from the sidelines. Call me lame, but I never was much of a dancer. I much prefer to watch. Nobody wanted to see a guy like me out on the dance floor anyway. The crowd moved and gyrated to the beat. A couple to the right of me started making out, heedless of everyone around them. At least that was something that didn't change. People were the same no matter where you went. As I watched, sipping my drink, I saw Aasi dip into the crowd. She vanished from my sight for a few moments, but the next time I saw her, she was dancing with some other guy. I tried to look away as if it didn't bother me, but it was no good. My eyes were drawn back to her and the guy again and again, jealousy rising in my chest. Uh-oh. It's fine, it's fine. She's your girlfriend after all. No need to get all clingy and possessive. Did you miss the part where she was that, like, 2 seconds ago? But as I watched, he grabbed her hips and pulled her against him, and the dancing became a lot less friendly. I wondered whether she was okay with this, but she seemed perfectly happy. In fact, she pulled him closer to her. Very close. Extremely close. I did not want to get jealous. I was not jealous. This was a normal thing. Right? I resisted the urge to march over to her and pull her off the guy. It wasn't my place to tell her what she should and shouldn't do. Instead, I sipped my drink and sulked in the corner, waiting for time to pass. As we walked home, Aasi chattered happily away. I'm surprised there wasn't a choice there of, like, pull him off of her. Or her off of him, I should say. I barely responded to anything she said. My mind kept traveling back to the image of her in the club, making sure all eyes were on her. She hit the floor. All the eyes in the club were looking at her. She hit the floor. That's all I could think of when reading that. I'm so sorry. Making sure all eyes were on her as she... Okay, what's wrong? Why are you being all rude? I grimaced. Well, you were dancing all up on some guy at the club. So? I mean, I wasn't super comfortable with it. I know we said no strings, but it did not feel great. Wow, really? You mean like when you ogle other girls? That sure doesn't feel great to me. What? I never! Liar. I saw you staring at the girls in the club. I was watching people dance. I wasn't... Is looking at people a crime? You weren't just looking. Your eyes, you were imagining going to bed with them. I was not! I don't even know what it would be like to... Ugh. Maybe it was the beer from earlier, but I couldn't manage to stop myself before accidentally admitting what I've been trying to hide from her. Uh-oh. Shocker of shocks. Flynn, you're a virgin? Shit. Christ. I lost mine when I was 14. Is that something you should brag about? My eyes threatened to fall out of their sockets. 14? Was that even legal? It couldn't be. How old are you now? 18? She was younger than me? She always acted so much more experienced. Jaded, even. She shook her head, baffled at my incompetence. I knew you were a little shy, but... Just because I don't grind on you in public, that makes me shy? Yes! Look, maybe we have different expectations. And mine are wrong, is that what you're saying? No! Oh. Look, I'm new at this, okay? I don't know much about London, I don't know much about you, and I don't know much about women. I won't understand what you're thinking if you don't explain it. You know, if you have problems with the way I behave, you can just come talk to me, don't you? Can I? She looked me in the eye, straight-faced. Can you? I guess that's up to you, isn't it? No? I don't understand what's going on anymore. She frowned and turned away. Look, it's fine, alright? You don't stare at other girls anymore, and I won't play up to other guys in front of you. Everything's much better now. So let's just get home. In front of you. I won't grind on guys in front of you, just when you're not around. I brushed past her on the sidewalk, and eventually she fell into step beside me. The walk home was awkward at first, but slowly the tension eased. It would be okay now, I hoped. Yeah, keep that hope alive, man. One of us does. Okay. It's the yard situation. I guess we should do this because she just leaves, and there's something different. I was eating breakfast with Aasi and Brendan when James entered the room.
The yard's looking a right mess again today. Grass is a mess. You three, get it tidy.
Aww. James was already gone. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it either.
They both up and left the dining room. Really? So now I had to be the one to mow the lawn all by myself? What the heck was wrong with those two? I knew Aasi was tired because we'd been out last night, but so was I. Oh. Alright. No help from Aasi. We're not shocked. We're going to see the chick flick, okay? Aasi stood in front of me and told me this in a matter-of-fact tone. It didn't seem that there was any room for argument. Okay. Good boy. When we finally made it to the front of the line in the movie theater, she told the Ticketmaster which movie we were going to instead to the side. Ah, for us to pay. I looked at her in confusion, and she pointed to the Ticketmaster. Yes? Aren't you going to pay? The Ticketmaster looked at me, eyebrows raised. I frowned and slid my card under the glass divider. Okay, now we can go get some food. I usually eat popcorn and soda with some candy bars, but maybe a hot dog would be good now. There is no way you eat any of those things with a body like that. No way. Not unless you puke it up afterwards. I followed along behind her, barely listening. It wasn't that I minded paying for the movie, but wouldn't it be nice if she said thank you? Well, maybe she'd pay for the food and make it even. But when we ordered our food, the same thing happened. Aasi stood to one side, a bright smile on her face. I forked over the money again, anger building up within me. This'll be great! I've been wanting to see this movie for a while. You okay? You seem kinda angry. Yeah, well, you seem kinda spoiled. Ooh. I do like this angry Flynn, though. He can dish it sometimes. Immediately after saying it, I wanted to take it back. It was true, but I knew I would get in trouble. Sure enough, Aasi's face darkened. No tears, though. Just anger. What the hell? How could you say something like that to your girlfriend? To someone you claim to care about? It's true! You didn't even say thank you for the things I just bought you. You just acted like you were entitled to it. I'm not trying to be mean, but a little appreciation would be nice. So you want me to fawn all over you every time you do completely normal things, is that it? No, This is a date. It is normal for the guy to pay. That's just how it goes. You can't expect a reward for basic decency. Was paying for everything really basic decency? I'm not trying to get a reward. I just want to feel like you actually enjoy being with me. I wanted to enjoy the movie. She turned quietly away. Oh, I handed our tickets to the usher to enter the theater. I found us a few seats not too far from the screen and we sat. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. You believe me, don't you? Of course I believe you. I'm dating you, aren't I? Now shush, the movie is starting. So I know we had a kind of fight today. Aasi turned to me as I reached my bedroom door, a pout on her face. But don't you think we can make up some other way? How is now the time? Oh? What do you have in mind? She took a step closer, then pressed up against me and kissed me so hard it drove the oxygen out of my head. That's better. See you later, Flynn. Okay, not quite time yet. She's taking her time, this girl. Goodness. So many dates. I didn't think we'd have so many dates with Aasi. They've all been horrible. Hey, Flynn, look at that! We were at the mall, Aasi pulling me from one store to the other by the arm. Now she pointed into some shop's window, oohing and awing over some kind of purse. Run, man, run! I have to have that handbag. There's no way I can keep going with my dumb old thing. Look at it! She held it up to me. It looked like a perfectly functional brown purse. Yeah, it's perfectly functional. Was there something I was missing? I'm looking. What's so dumb about it? It's so plain! That one's designer brand, and it's stitched from the outside, see? I need to have it! It's brown, just like the one you already have. Flynn, don't be stupid. They're completely different. She grabbed onto my arm, looking up at me and wiggling back and forth like an eager puppy. Won't you buy it for me? Please? I'd be very grateful. I grumpily leaned into the glass, squinting against the light to see the price. 120 pounds? No way in hell! She frowned and released my arm. So you don't love me then? What? Why do you think that? Just because I don't want to pay for a stupid purse when you already have a perfectly good one? Oh. She stared at the floor. You're acting just like my ex. He did this kind of thing too. Anything I liked was stupid. Of course, when it was important to him, we had to do it. Of course we had to spend money to go to the game. Of course I had to get a scarf in his team colors and wear it, however hideous it was. But the instant I asked for something, for one little thing, just the one thing, it was, no, that's stupid. I can't believe you're the same way. Maybe we should rethink this. I don't want to date a man who thinks what I like doesn't matter. But it's not that. I'm not trying to diss your interests. You can buy it if you want. She shot me such an evil glare I knew I must have messed up again. Let me guess, he said that too? Oh. I don't want to talk about it. Oh. Finally, not feeling like I had much of a choice, I went into the store and forked over the funds for the stupid purse. Flynn. Flynn, no. Yay! Thank you so much, Flynn. You're the absolute best! I watched her wave her purse in the air, not getting much joy out of it. At least she appreciated my actions this time. Yeah, for 5 minutes until the next thing. This is so horrible. No! Stop with the dates! Just get to the fun time bang thing so she can dump your butt, because you're never gonna do it, man. It's painful. I had decided to take Aasi out for dinner. Things were starting to feel kind of strained in our relationship. Starting? I couldn't put my finger on it, but I felt like she was closed off from me. She always thanked me when I did things for her now, but the instant I didn't measure up to her expectations, she went cold. Even when we had normal conversations, it felt like she was dancing around the real issue or point. I wanted her to trust me, and she always said that she did, but I had no idea what was up. And then there were days like today. Look at that girl. Do you see her? Do you think she's prettier than me? I glanced across the room. Aasi was gesturing to a blonde in a little black dress. She was quite attractive, legs going on for miles, but that didn't make a difference to me. You know I only have eyes for you. Aasi's face darkened. So she is prettier than me. That's not what I said. I saw it in your face! You're such a prick! I don't like it when people slyly insult me like that, right? I'm not the kind of person that puts up with disrespect. You better shape up, else I'm gonna walk. God! Why are you so insecure? I'm not comparing other women to you. You're the one I'm dating. You're the one I chose to be with. Don't you know that? She looked at me in silence for a few seconds. I felt ashamed of my outburst, but stood my ground. Then... Am I? Pardon? Am I really the one you chose? You don't sound sure about that. Aasi, are you serious? Don't act like I'm being irrational. You said it, not me. I gaped at her. I didn't know what to say to make it better. In fact, it seemed like I shouldn't say anything at all, considering how things were going at that point. The waiter brought our food and we ate in silence. Aasi kept shooting glares at the woman from across the room, and I tried hard to ignore it. Then something terrible happened. Oh boy. The pretty blonde from across the room gasped. I turned to look. Oh! Her boyfriend was before her, on his knees, a ring in his hands. He was proposing. Hooray! At least there's real love somewhere in this world. The woman happily accepted and everyone in the room applauded. I turned back to Aasi and saw her glaring poison darts at me. Shit. The next time I saw the waiter, I shoved money in his hands and told him to keep the change. I wanted out of there and fast. Flynn! Let's not start this again. Are you running away from me? I can't do anything right tonight, can I? Slow down! I can't keep up! Her high heels did slow her down. I let her approach me. Flynn, am I really the only woman for you? You know you are. But my words weren't as convincing as I wanted them to sound. No, I don't. We've been going out for a while now, and we still haven't... Ugh. Sometimes I don't know if you want me at all. I do! I do. I winced even as I said it. I do. Compared to the happy romance of that couple in the restaurant, my relationship with Aasi looked like a disaster. At least you're cognizant of the fact. I'm afraid of messing things up. I have to do everything, don't I? I cringed, but it seemed that for once she wasn't mad at me. Well, if I have to plan this, I'm going to do it right. Make it special. And then you can decide, once and for all, how you feel about me. You only get your first time once. Relief trickled out of me in the form of laughter. Maybe things would be alright after all. Ha 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 ha. Oh, at least it's gonna be over soon. I guess it'll be while we're at the beach? Maybe? I can't imagine her still doing it when we get back from the beach trip. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to spend extra time with Aasi and Brendan, so I plopped down next to them. Hello.
What the hell do you want?
Now, Brendan, don't be so mean to the guy. I know you don't like the competition, but surely you can put up with him for one night, right? Your little feud can wait until you get back to the hostel. Brendan and Aasi traded looks and he sighed.
Oh, fine.
What were you two talking about?
You know, same thing as ever. The general stupidity of everybody around us.
We were talking about how weird it was that everybody got into pairs so quickly. You came late, so you were the odd one out, but look. Peggy and Danny make sense. She's had eyes for him forever. Mark and Ashley, too. She's pretty much the only one of us who is nice enough to tolerate him. But Angelo and Jihyo make no sense. Every time they get together, they start bickering.
Oh, Aasi. So innocent. So cute. The course of true love never did run smooth.
I stared at them. Are you suggesting all of these people are somehow interested in each other? Well, I'm not suggesting it. I glanced at the pairs gathered on the beach. Crush or otherwise, the longer I looked, the more each pair made sense. Alright. I think today's the day. It was the last night of the trip. Aasi and I had been spending a lot of time together, both with the group and separately. Things were heating up between us, and I was falling more and more for her. Oh no. She was definitely a bit high maintenance, but I also knew she could be sweet and fragile under her spiky exterior. It might not seem like it at first glance, or second glance, or third glance, but she truly cared about me. The way she talked about me, it was almost like she was in love with me. Like I was the one. Oh boy, I remember reading that on Malia's route with Brendan. Uh-oh. That's a big alarm if I ever seen it. So when Aasi approached me after dinner and gently took my hand, I let her guide me to her hotel room. Flynn, I'm sure you can guess why we're here. What I want? I flushed. I know this is a big moment for you. I wanted to be sure it was a good memory. Something worth all the effort. Not just a quick tumble in a grubby hostel room. She grinned and I shrugged. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Do you not want to do this? No, I do. Okay. Because if you're not completely sure, we shouldn't. I want you to be with me, 100%. I want you to know in your heart and in your head that you were okay with this decision when you made it. That you trust me and I trust you. I glanced questioningly at her, but she just shook her head. I wonder if Aasi and Brendan practice this speech to each other whenever they're trying to get a new mark on their list. Did I sound more sincere that time? Do you think they'll buy it more? Sex is serious. You can't take it back afterwards. No, Aasi. I'm sure that if it's with you, it'll be okay. Aasi beamed, positively glowing with joy. Wonderful! Then Flynn, take my hand. I grabbed hold of her hand and she led me to her bed.
Hey, it's been a while since I've seen that.
She shrugged her way out of her dress and pulled me towards her and kissed me. You're so sexy. I flushed again, moving awkwardly as she unbuttoned my shirt and undid my pants. I didn't know a graceful way to get out of my clothes, but thankfully Aasi didn't seem to mind. We crawled into bed together and Aasi gently kissed me. Ready? Ready. Beyond a doubt. There we go.
Huh. I like that Flynn looks a little concerned in the picture. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's kind of more like, whoa, look at her. Okay.
That night was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So wonderful, we didn't talk about it. Oh boy, man. Aasi and Brendan really do have the same plays.
I woke up the morning we were supposed to leave, a broad smile on my face. I reached for Aasi, wanting to feel her warmth, but she wasn't there. I sat up and glanced around the room. Her bags were gone. Was it time to leave already? No, we still had a few hours. Then what had happened? My heart sank. I had a bad feeling about all of this. But I reasoned it was just post-coitus jitters, that I was nervous about my impact or performance or something, and crept back to my room to pack up. I had nothing to worry about. Not with Aasi, not with anybody. Right?
Yeah, man, totally. It's totally fine. Alright, we're gonna stop at Aasi. Oh, okay, it's gonna stop for me.
Despite being suddenly made the complete enemy of everyone around me, there was only one person I was truly worried about. Aasi. I ran through the hostel and even out into the streets, searching for her, terrified of what she would think of me now, of whether she would believe she was wrong about me. I had to try to set her straight. But I couldn't find her, no matter where I looked. Finally, after an hour had passed, I slunk up to the hostel staircase and to my room. Flynn. And there she was, waiting at my door. Aasi! Oh, thank God! I rushed to hug her, but then thought better of it and maintained my distance. I didn't do it. I know you probably don't have a reason to believe me, but I do. If you... What? I believe you. I know you're innocent. What? Really? I made a decision during that trip to trust you, and that means I will support you, even when it seems like you're making a mistake, even when all the evidence points to you being in the wrong. If you tell me sincerely that you didn't do it, what else can I do?
Okay. Unexpected. I don't know what to make of this now.
This time I really did hug her, and she stood on her tiptoes to hug me back. Aasi, I don't know what I did to deserve a woman like you. You don't deserve me. That's the truth. She chuckled, but I didn't feel there was much humor to it. Don't ever forget it, alright? I nodded, so overwhelmed with relief I didn't care much what she said. If she told me she was pregnant and required me to give up my future to move with her to Russia or something, I'd have done it in a heartbeat.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
Why don't I come inside? I'm sure you're not feeling great, what with everyone being dicks and all. I'm sure you could use some company. She winked. I really didn't feel up to what she was offering. Being unemployed and at risk of losing my temporary home didn't do much to put me in the mood. But she was being truly sweet, and I did want to show her how much I appreciated her.
Oh, no. I don't know. I mean... Sure. Yeah. I'm being played, but I don't know how long to let her play. I mean, I guess I have to let her play me until she's done, and then see if me and Brendan can make something work. Alright, sure.
Anything she wanted. She pushed me into my bedroom. In no time, clothes were on the floor and she was in my bed. I gave it my best, but like I said, I wasn't feeling it, and I think she could tell. When all was said and done, she gave a half-hearted goodbye, and I was left alone in my room feeling lower than before.